Welcome to Macrocode, and today we are going to learn about ASP.NETCORE connection with PostgreSQL. So we are going to create a web application, then we connect to PostgreSQL. So we'll just launch new, then you are going to create ASP.NETCORE web app model view controller template. Then it will be a student's management system. Students management system. Then proceed. So you are using .NET 6. Then we create our new application. So that is it. So we have our program.cs file already created, and we have our app settings.json. So this is where we'll be storing our database connection. Then we have the home controllers, views, and the models. So let's create our domain class for the student. We can name it as student. So make your domain class singular. So then we can define the properties here. ID, which will be our primary key. So we can actually decorate this with key. So then we can have our first name. Then middle name. Then last name. Can also have a full name. But now this full name will be a combination of first name, middle name, and last name. So we'll take the value of first name, combine with the value of the middle name, and just copy. Then last name. That will be our full name. So we can have our email address. Phone number. We can have these as int. And we can have gender. Now these are string. So this one allows a null. So if we want it to be not to accept null values, that's how we declare it. And have it that way. And this one. And this one. Sorry, this is fine. Yeah. So that is it. So we can now define our DB context, which will act as a connection to our database. So we can create a folder, call it context. Then we define here a class, which will actually derive from DB context. So I can call it application DB context. So this is a derivative. It will be a class deriving from DB context. So this one is actually from Entity Framework Core. So we have not installed it, so you can actually install it. So it will install Entity Framework Core on our application. So if you come to packages, then you will be able to see it. We have the latest version. So we need a our class db context option. So what we need to do is to define our constructor. So public, so you can copy this application db context. So these will be db context options. So you can just tap, then you can have that. So this is our. So what we need to do is to define our database here. So db set, we can have a model here. So our table will be students. So that is it. So we need to install now the nuggets for PostgreSQL. So npg-sql. So we're going to install these npg-sql entity framework core Postgres. So install that nugget. So it's already installed. You can also install the design, entity framework core design. Core tools and design. We can have these two. So we have it. So we can register our db context on our program.cs file. So I have some connections here. So we have installed the nuggets. So what we need to do is to register it here. So we'll come and register our application here. Register. So we'll say builder services.add db context. We'll be having our db context. So our db context is application db context. So that is our class. So since we have registered, so options, now declare our options here. We can say options dot use by using npsql. So we can now register these. So that's fine. So then configuration dot get connection get configuration get connection string. So we'll take our connection string now. So going to have it here. So can close these. We can define first our app settings. So here you can say connection string tap. Then here we can have we can copy these default connection. So this is our database connection. So we'll be having the server name, the port for Postgres, default port, the database, that is the university, then user ID is Postgres, and this is our password. So that is our password. So we'll be using this default connection on our program.cs. So we'll be having it here. So this one is trying to so we are having this one. So what we need to do here is say builder dot. So that is our, we have registered our DB context, application context. So we have also registered our database connection on this other side. So what we need to do is now launch our Postgres PostgreSQL and create this database called university. So I'll give my password there. Give my password. So we don't have the database, you can create a database name, university. There we are. So you can see our database doesn't have tables and a schema, then tables. So we don't have any table. So since we have done that, next thing we need to do is to create, so we have our model called student. So we need to create a migration so that this student table will be created on our database. So what we need to do, we apply migration, come to tools, then NuGet package console. Then we'll have such a screen. So I'll copy a command here. So I'll explain this. So we are using a command called add migration, then initial migration. You can call initial migration. Then this is our application DB context. Then we want it to be under data, then under migrations. So press enter. So the application DB context was not found, so we can take, yeah, so the application DB context has double P, so you can rename this to be application DB context. So we can do this, then we can also do it here. So that is fine. So we can do this again, enter. So that's fine. So you can see it has created an SQL query that is going to create our table called students and add these fields with a primary key ID, which is auto-generated. So since we are okay with these this statement, so what we need to do is to update our database. So we use update database command. So press enter. So it will actually do that until it's done. So one thing that you need to know is the only thing that will change when connecting SQL, that is MS SQL and Postgres, is this service here and how you connect these two to the connection and the packet. That is the NuGet packages that you are using. You see we are using NPG SQL. So that is the only difference. So you can actually switch an application from using PostgreSQL to MySQL or even to MS SQL. So if we come to our database, and refresh. So you can actually refresh. You're able to see students and the migrations table. This keeps tracks of the migrations that we have done. Just to execute this, you can see we have this migration and the version. So our student table, if we select, so you can see it has created our table ID, first name, middle name, last name, email address, phone number, gender, which is empty. So you might want to create some students. So we'll come to program.cs. Then under home, we redirect it to the students controller. Then we launch our application. Sorry. Since our port is being used, let me try using IS. Yeah. So what you can do, you can consider watching our videos on the Kestrel web server and the IS server. So if we come to the properties launch settings, you can see we have these IIS settings, and we have these Kestrel profile and the IIS profile. So if we try launching these using the IIS, let's just try again. So the port is 44382, so you can check on our port. So the port is 4382, so you can change this port to 4383. Let's clean our application and rebuild it. So we can launch it again. Seems there is something wrong. Application DB context. Application DB context. Then so the controller, we are looking at the controller. Yeah, I think we are fine. So we need to create CRUD operation. So it is trying to, so where it was there is here. So it is trying to find the students controller and we don't have it. So let's do the scaffolding of our students. So click on views, add. So you can stop it first. Add, then controller. Just click on views, add, then select new scaffolded item, then select MVC controller with views using entity framework, then select the model class student, then application DB context or application DB context, then the controller will come here. So you can leave the controller as it is, then click OK. So it will create the normal views, that is the create view, update view, and the index with the students controller. So there we are. So you can see it has created students controller, and we have the index which retrieves the students data, the details which actually gives us the student details create, the view and the post. So you can see we have it here. So since we have done that, you can see we have, when you come to views, we will have our controller here. So you can move this controller, you can just cut and paste it under controllers. Yeah, so we have it here. So if we just launch our application, we expect it to run. There we are. So you can see it is now running under 443.83. So since that was not the issue, we can actually revert it back under launch settings.json, revert it to 82. So that is how you change the ports. So I'm launching using the IIS Express web server. So that is it. You can see the port is 443.82. So we can now create a student. A student name, we can call it James Wangu. Then test at gmail.com. Then this is 07. Then this is mail. So if we do that, then press create. You can see we have now our student. You can edit female. Save. See, it's updated. We can add another one. John Wangu Vincent test gmail.com. Then mail. So we have our data there. So if we come to our database and the students table and we try to execute these, you can see we have our data here. So it is actually saving the data to our PostgreSQL. So that is how you create a CRUD operation using PostgreSQL. So if we come here, then we delete one of the record. So you can see that is fine. So if we run this again, one student is gone. So that is majorly how you create a CRUD operation using ASP.NETCORE and PostgreSQL. So guys, remember to subscribe to our videos and share, comment down below what you want us to do on our next video. See you and keep us safe.